Thank you so much, Daniel, for that amazing introduction. And thank you to Horizons for recognizing the Transgender Law Center, which feels particularly important in the times we're in. As the Transgender Law Center celebrates our 15th year, much of our success is because of many of you in the room with us tonight. The National Center for Lesbian Rights was our first home. Out of an organization that has worked tirelessly for our communities for 40 years, the Transgender Law Center was born. We began here in California by documenting work on issues facing the transgender community, from employment to housing to healthcare to name and gender changes. We began to work with transgender people incarcerated in prisons and jails because we were clear that none of our communities should be forgotten. We formed partnerships to support transgender immigrants who have come here seeking safety and refuge. As our work shifted nationally, we saw the opportunity to fight for more of the transgender community on a larger level. One clear example of that was our case on behalf of Mia Macy. So everyone has heard what happened this past week, and no matter what the Trump administration says, it's clear that the law protects transgender people from employment discrimination in this country. From early supporters of our work like Horizons and Levi's, from partnerships with sister organizations here in the Bay Area like the SF-LGBT Center, the Transgender Intersex Justice Project, Ella, and our Family Coalition, we have expanded our relationships to truly build a powerful trans and gender nonconforming movement. Our programs expanded to raise up transgender youth and their families in partnership with our friends at GSA Network through a project called Truth. We expanded and joined forces with Southerners on New Ground to make sure our families and communities in the South were getting support. We established the groundbreaking Positively Trans that works with transgender people living with HIV and AIDS to produce research, to tell their stories, and in the last couple of years has dramatically changed the conversation of HIV in this country. And that was just the beginning.
Trans people have always been at the forefront of the movement. Despite the great attempts to deny our existence and diminish our dignity, trans people, especially trans women of color, have paved the way forward with resilience and fierce determination. Out of that great tradition, as a humble project, TLC has now grown to become the largest trans-led organization advocating self-determination for all people, grounded in legal expertise and committed to racial justice. TLC employs a variety of community-driven strategies to keep trans and gender nonconforming people alive, thriving, and fighting for liberation. From a staff of 3 to 30 with offices in Oakland, Atlanta, and most recently our East Coast office in New York City, this is a testament to the resilience of Miss Major, Marsha P. Johnson, and Sylvia Rivera. and our very own Felicia Flames from Compton's Cafeteria Riots. This work isn't about Transgender Law Center, but rather for our clients, siblings, families, and every member of our community, so that we no longer mourn the loss of our trans women of color sisters who have been murdered, that we are celebrating our victories in this lifetime. Transgender Law Center's overarching goal is liberation for all transgender and gender nonconforming people. We build power with transgender and gender nonconforming communities, particularly communities of color and those most marginalized, and lay the groundwork for a society in which nobody is disposable and all people can live safely, freely, and authentically, regardless of gender identity or expression. And we will continue to do what it takes until we are all free. So we invite everyone in this room to continue to be with us in this political moment and beyond, even after these 4 years. And one last note, Mr. Trump, we will see you in court. Thank you.